So it's time for part two of sharing music that I love from my collection. Um, I just decided that I'd like to just dive into the collection, just share things that I love. Um, I do hope to do this for a time, and so I'm hoping that I can get to some of the ideas that I've mentioned, doing videos specifically on particular artists and what it is that I love about them. But right now, I'll do kind of a cross section. And again, I want to thank everyone for watching. And I really enjoy sharing more about music that many people don't seem to know too much about. And I sincerely hope that as you find this music, that you find something that you do like. Believe me, I won't be offended if you don't, because it's not about me. It's about the music and what it means to you. What's special for me is being able to share this this thing that is so important to me and has really kept me alive. Literally, it's a whole story I could tell about all my suicide attempts when I was much younger. So I'm going to start right now with usually I'm showing vinyl, and that's mainly what I'm going to show, but I'm going to digress right quick and show you something I just love and had for a while, the Can box. And this is how it originally came out. It was reissued as a DVD, which I do have, but the Can box, when it first came out, was like the thing is just to die for. And Can is the German band. It comes with this really, really, really comprehensive book about them. Very comprehensive. It came with 2 CDs of unreleased live performances. I had never heard any of this music before, not even on bootleg. And the documentary, which originally came on VHS, which to me now is very collectible. It's on DVD now, but having it on VHS is the excuse me, the shiz. And I just noticed on some of my other videos, I ended up holding some records upside down like mini pops. So if that makes me look geeky, that's cool, because I'm a geek. So to start with the vinyl that I really love, and play some background music, some Ralph Towner. We'll listen to some Ralph Towner here. This one is called Old Friends, New Friends. Fabulous guitarist. The microphone on the camera is not good, so you don't get a good fidelity of the music. And sometime I may do I intend to do a video where I hook up my mixer and the whole deal and put that direct into the feed here. But here we go. Donny Hathaway. I believe this is his first solo album. What a voice. What a great voice this man had. His version of Young, Gifted, and Black, as well as a song called Giving Up. I don't know how you can't be moved by the sound of Donny Hathaway's voice, who is no longer with us. Speaking of, he successfully committed suicide. This is Phantasmagoria by the band Curved Air. And I just love this album. It's like going into Alice in Wonderland with your ears. Sanja Christina's voice is just amazing. Daryl Way and the keyboardist, Francis Monkman, provided most of the songwriting. Excellent stuff. One of my favorites. This is an album I found many years ago, and it took me forever to find anything out about it. Day of Phoenix is the name of the band. I wasn't even sure what was the name of the band. The Neighbor's Son. I don't remember what I found out about them off the top of my head, but I can tell you that this veers between kind of a rocking sound and a pop sound. I do believe they are Scandinavian, possibly from, let's see if I can just... Produced by Tony Reeves. That was another thing that caught my eye, Tony Reeves. as the producer. Not sure where this is from. Dr. Progenstein, if you know a bit more, I bet you have this, eh? Um, let me, I'd love to hear your information. A band that I got turned on to as a teenager by being given a promo copy, which this is not. I still have the promo copy of when it came out in America, Egg. I think it was about 1970, 71. And I just love this album. And Dave Stewart, the keyboardist from this band, I've followed him ever since. Continue to follow him, everything he does, because he has such a distinct sound, really is quite the writer. And I like that he tried to, well, he started a coined a phrase, healthy music. And I agree that the music that he writes and a lot of this progressive music, not just progressive, but I'll say that about that genre because of him, it's pretty healthy, stimulating. In order to really get something from it, you have to really pay attention. By the way, these records I'm going to show are not from a particular time period. Sometimes when I try to start looking for that, and it's like, oh boy, this is a lot of work, and I want to show you something. So here we go, Stereolab, switched on. And I just love this band, Stereolab. I love them, love them, love them. They've been accused of repeating themselves, and I'd say that there are periods where the records are samey sounding, but if you have followed them, there's been a definite progression throughout the years of what they do. Very sorry when they lost Mary in the bicycle accident, but just a wonderful, wonderful band. Really good playing and writing. I love England. I love English pop. Always have. All the different permutations throughout the years since the Beatles. And the Stone Roses, the Manchester scene. I have another title from that era. She Bangs the Drums. This was the first thing I heard by them, and it just floored me. So catchy. And I love the sound of Ian Brown's voice, even though he, they had to cheat to keep him on key on the records. Great record. And John Squire, the guitar player's artwork on most of the records. Going back to the 70s, Procol Harum, Grand Hotel. This is the first record I bought by them. Of course, I loved Whiter Shade of Pale, but didn't buy anything until this album came out. I'm not exactly sure why, but sure glad I did. Great writing. Love Gary Brooker's voice. Again, something recent. An amazing band, energy-wise. The Mars Volta. I have to read the title. I don't want to get my glasses out. You folks that know the Mars Volta know this album. It's an odd title. An interesting recent piece of work by Hypnosis, people that did the Pink Floyd covers. This band is intense. They don't play around. And this is my copy. Cedric and Omar, the pair that lead the project, they almost look like brothers to me, and there's a real synergy about their energy and the way they play together that just is explosive. One of the best bands of the 90s, Massive Attack, and this iconic single of theirs, Teardrop, with Elizabeth Fraser from the Cocteau Twins singing. Classic and haunting. Massive Attack, Bad Mothers. I pulled some M's, like I said. I just went over and looked and said, what's right there that I really love? And Curtis Mayfield, Back to the World. And also, after watching Stefan73's recent update where he bought the Curtis Mayfield, inspired me. This is my favorite Curtis Mayfield record. And I hope you can find a copy of this if you don't yet. But this is just slamming from the top to the end. Curtis Mayfield is just one of the greatest writers of song to ever come from anywhere. God rest his soul. A record that goes back to my young teen years, and that's when I got it as a cutout. McKendree Spring, kind of a folk-based band. I think they're from the Boston area, I believe. And this is their first album. It has one of my favorite songs of all time, partially because of the sentimental value of hearing it and learning it as a child, but the song is called What Will We Do with the Child? And I thought, especially as a boy, hearing the words and what it was about, about having a baby out of wedlock and realizing they really don't love each other, what are they going to do? And the music is just... And folks don't have a problem with, people wanting to show emotion and be real and human. I try to not curse, but fuck that macho shit. You know what I'm saying? A man is a man, as a woman is a woman. Don't even give a fuck about who somebody sleeps with. Doing things like this, and I feel so glad that I'm not hung about showing my emotions, and being real, And I feel sorry for... I'm a social worker. I work with all kinds of people, so I'm saying this because I work with people, and I'm some days I'm just amazed at how many people are still hung up on some just bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So back to the music. From Belgium, Machiavel, Jester. This is, I believe, their second album. They were influenced by Genesis, but again, what I like about many of these bands is that they had to get their own flavor, which is what I'm looking for. And I'm not looking for more Genesis. I'm looking for their flavor. I love this cover. And the music. Have to show it. So on one of my favorite labels, Harvest, Belgian band. They became pretty commercial, but the first few albums are very good. Another record that contains some of my favorite songs from my adolescence, Manfred Mann, Chapter 3. My family was pretty poor, so I couldn't buy records like I wanted to, and often actually would only get one record per year as a child on my birthday, maybe another at Christmas. So as a teenager, when things started to become cutouts, any sort of scrap lunch money I could put together, anything, 39 cents, 50 cents to get a cutout, that's what I would do. And I was very fortunate to find this as a 39-cent cutout. This is another copy since then I bought. But this is just, for me, a fantastic early jazz rock album. And Mr. You're a Better Man Than I, it's a song that's been done by many people. This is the best version for my money. Another incredible band that just, why aren't they in there? The pantheon of the prog bands, East of Eden. And this is a reissue with two of their albums on it. Mercator Projected, which is the one is one of my all-time favorites. And the other album that has Jigga Jig on it. But Mercator Projected by East of Eden is a concept album, like, in its own way. I don't want to go as far as Lamb Lies Down, but it's damned good. And it just talk about the whole record taking you to a place that you'll stay until it's over. And you'll damn well really like it. This is one. East of Eden. UK band, I believe. This is the other Manchester band that I love. And this particular single, in my opinion, is a modern day pop classic. Move, Inspiral Carpets. You drop the needle on this, and from the very start sound of the organ, you're in for something special. And Clint's voice, I believe that's his name, Clint Boone, the singer, fantastic. Inspiral Carpets, Move. I highly recommend it. Going back to the 70s, and another one of those records that's just a dream and a place, which is one of those things that I love when I can find it in a record. Is a record that takes you somewhere on a journey, and you're better for it. Renaissance, Prologue. Oh my God, what a beautiful album. Annie Haslam's voice, the writing and the playing, the bass playing on this album. This is fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. And for you folks that don't know the band and have maybe picked over this in the bins, the $1, $2 bins, where it sometimes ends up, you better run back and get that baby. 2 more for this one. From Leeds, Red Lorry, Yellow Lorry. This band comes from the 80s, and I have everything that I can find by them. Hard guitar, deep voice like that, but not the metal thing, but taking the Ian Curtis Joy Division thing to a whole nother level. Red Lorry, Yellow Lorry, when I heard them, when the record store, I remember when the guy who owned Jurassic Plastic, Mike, said, "Hey, Derek, you gotta hear this." He dropped the needle, and I said, "Oh my God, yeah, these guys, this is powerful, powerful rock, powerful post-punk rock." Song after song after song after song after song, hypnotic, beats into your head, and you can't get it out. I love this band. An acquired taste, but one that I say that people should at least know about, The Residents. The most notorious unknown band in the world. Still, no one is quite sure of their identities. They've never revealed them. This particular record, Intermission, I bought when I went out to see The Residents when they played publicly, probably for only the 3rd or 4th time in their entire history. This was back in the early 80s in San Francisco. I went out just to see The Residents, do the Mole Show live. Penn Jillette was the announcer of the show, and I got to meet him the second night before the show, and it was just so well worth it. This band is an acquired taste. You know, sometimes listening to them is like getting an uneasy stomach, but what they're portraying the real America, and that's part of the message they've always said is, you know, when you tell the whole story, you need to get to the part where it kind of, you don't like it, but it's there and it's real. It needs to be told. I dare say I think that's a big part of what the Residents set out to do from the beginning with many of their concepts, is to not make fun of or just be grotesque or weird just to be weird, but trying to say, hey folks, this is who we really are. Hello, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I just dug that and still dig that about artists, from as diverse as Lydia Lunch to Jello Biafra to, I remember when the Virgin Prunes came out, there was a very confrontational aspect to the way that they did their music and their shows, and I applaud it. I applaud it. Someone who I would not have subjected myself to because I don't need the abuse is Gigi Allen, but at the same time, I understand and respect his right to have done what he did. Okay, guys, hope you enjoyed what I shared, and we'll see you again.